respected panelists and delegates. It's an honor for me to come here and interact with you and address you on policies to prevent counterfeiting and smuggling. It's a very interesting topic. Let me just go for a most positive as well as the negative side of it. First, let me not be so skeptical about the police or the investigation into this. One good thing is that actually I have been in the service for the last 20 years, and before that, if I could remember, there's a huge change in the way in which the smuggling and counterfeiting is being done the last 10 years, especially after the IT era. As you know, Kerala is something we are consumer state. We depend on Gulf remittances for everything. The economy moves around the Gulf economy. So earlier, especially 1970s and 80s, if you see the old Malayalam movies, you can see the smuggling going on, especially in boats. And heroes will be heroes. Sometimes maybe a customs officer, sometimes police officer, or even the smuggler may be considered as a big don. So there was a condition. And similarly in all Bombay, if you take the mafia also, most of them struggle. Whether it's a movie, Nayagan movie, or many Malayalam movies, everything depends upon smuggling. And it was a case, it was a scenario before 1990s. I used to remember even when I was studying in college, 1991-92, we had two Sri Lankan friends who were coming from as my classmates. So they used to have a soap called Sunlight soap, and they used to bring certain Colgate paste, etc. And it seems to be far better than our quality. What they say is that they go to Sri Lanka, buy in bulk amount, come here and sell here. Because our quality of even the ordinary things we use in our daily life, whether it's washing soap or paste, ordinary things are so pathetic. And it was the condition before 1990. And similarly, during that time, if you remember, people whose relatives are from Gulf, they used to send money through a money order or something like that. And it used to be wrapped in carbon paper. So they will be sending some money, and the carbon paper will be actually totally bundled in carbon paper. And most of the medical shops are actually used as buying the foreign currency, then selling it. Because at that time, the currency rate was fixed by the government. There was no free convertibility of money. So what happens is that every nook and corner we used to have a small Hawala type medical shops where you go and give the Gulf money and they give you Indian currency. Because what the rate given by the government is lower than what is the market rate. But after 90s, especially after economic new liberalization and privatization policies, there is a huge change in the attitude and smuggling. No longer people smuggle gold, ordinary soap and washing machine nowadays. That's totally changed. There's a big positive impact of the whole thing in the last time. You see that. Similarly, also counterfeiting. When I joined in the service, the first salary I got from Kasaragod. You won't believe it, out of at least around 5% of the total currency I just got from treasury was actually counterfeit currencies. It was so horrible. I was just with that Kasaragod is famous for the counterfeit currency. But now we don't need it all, because everything is online, ATM is there. We don't need currency, we don't even deal with cash any longer. So because of the digital economy and huge change in the way in which interact, there's a big changes in the way the police investigation also is going on. Now what we really face is that we are facing the real problem of the same advantage digital economy, how it's being misused for online frauds. You see that cyber crimes we are taking every year. On a daily basis, we are actually encountering people who are losing a huge amount of pension money. They are using their medical insurance schemes, and so many hundreds of complaints are actually flowing every month. Actually, we are unable to deal with that because online frauds have become a huge phenomenon in India. And before 2 weeks back, you may remember the Haryana police under the DGP, they conducted a raid using around 5,000 policemen. 5,000 policemen actually conducted raids throughout many internet cafes, etc., to unearth these online frauds. In Kochi city also, if we find, most of them are related to all these things. Similarly, after this, same thing, what happens is that once the technology improves, the new type of financial products also comes up. Or sometimes which we don't know what is it. Like example, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So we have a case of cryptocurrency. Whether cryptocurrency is a counterfeit currency or what currency, we are not sure about that. When police is actually blockchain, or we all know the new terms are coming up, but we are not sure whether it's actually digital currency, whether it's authorized one, whether RBI knows about that. So much of fraud is going around, especially in the dark web, etc. We actually feel that we are at least 2 or 3 years behind the technology. The technology is taken up so fast, it's going on very fastly. So there are main challenges we face. At the same time, as I told you, we have huge opportunities. And the opportunities especially in terms of what I call it, that can be done only by, as you saw, this is parallel on policy discussion. So when we come to the policies, so especially for one of the big problems we face is that mafia is growing primarily because of illicit gold smuggling and narcotics trade. Earlier in 1980s and 90s, all these Bombay mafia, local mafia, all were thriving because of smuggling and other narcotics. Same thing, smuggling, or even illicit arak. Because when you implement prohibition, to enforce prohibition, what happens is that as per our constitution, it's a mandatory, and it is not mandatory in the sense, it's actually recommendatory. Even in the Director Principles of States Policy, saying that prohibition should also be enforced at the Gandhian principles. But once no states has actually to be able to enforce the prohibition foolproofly. Kerala has tried many times, it has failed. It will be failed again and again. Then we know that prohibition will not happen. What happens is that whenever mafia, the term mafia itself came because of prohibition. 1920s, especially in the USA, what we see in mafiosi movies, 1920s, the problem was that prohibited liquor, then immediately mafia grew to supplement it. Similarly, for here also, what I feel is that we are facing the problem of smugglers getting into other gunda activities. Primarily, they are all thriving. And so they know that gold smuggling is illegal, so if they can go and rob the smuggler, it is easy to, they will not go to the police and complain. So the gold smuggler also knows that he is also criminal. So it's as if both are criminals fighting with each other, and we are not in the loop. Because once it's smuggling of gold can be easily tackled through airport, because I was in airport. But the airport also has limitations. For example, the number of items that's being searched by the customs officer is phenomenal. Even if you are staying for that mission under half an hour, you get tired. Because thousands of articles, packages all going around. And how can a poor Japs who is sitting here can continuously monitor this? Even we have this canine squad, our dogs, they also have a limitation. Maybe they are actually get tired after 1 hour. So you got dogs. As per perception is that we can continuously use dog for 24 hours. We can't do that. So any drugs, anything comes about, it's all by chance only we are getting it. And there are a lot of huge impact in that. So what I really feel is that, especially if you want to cut down this gold, the one good thing is that, like earlier, where you made full conversion of money, thereby the Hawala has come down like anything. Because Hawala means more than 1 lakh crores comes to Kerala. Out of that, less than 1% we get as Hawala. In the sense, because everything is now legalized. Similarly, gold also, primarily price difference between India and Gulf countries. And because of this price difference, the gold is being smuggled. Why? When there is no gold price difference or minimum gold differences in gold price, then there won't be any incentive for them to smuggle. But unfortunately, now we are giving an incentive so that we may enable too much of tax on them. What happens is that they selectively get the gold at a high import rate. Then they have more incentive to smuggle it, because in Gulf countries there is no duty on gold. So because of one biggest policy issue in terms of price issue, it has increased and more improved. I mean, what I call it, it has increased the smuggling activities. Similarly, narcotics is a much more comprehensive and difficult subject to deal with. And as you know, it's in India we are facing narcotics at a very alarming rate, and our main target is how to control narcotics trade and avoid the new peddlers coming into their life. So we are targeting them at both the demand side as well as supply side, and especially because all these products can be what we have in all these drugs, etc. are nothing but the term drug itself says that it's nothing but it's made for a good purpose, but it's being misused. Or MDMA, they also MDMA. MDMA is the most commonly used chemical drug in Kerala, or even cannabis. So all this cannabis, heroin, even cocaine was used as medicines long back. MDMA was nothing but it was given for post-traumatic disorders. It's being misused. So pharmaceutical companies try and level the dust and invent some new drug. The new drug is being misused. So that, especially what the drugs here they consume, is that it's the difference between when you are taking a good champagne and totally a prohibited arak, where you put battery and cockroach and cook in the some slums. So that is what these youngsters consume and damage their brain and their health. So it's a huge problem we are facing it, and certainly FICC can also help us in countering this one. And especially from the investigation point of view, we take all these things very seriously. As soon as we get a complaint, we tend to immediately register it. At the same time, I must also tell you, when we registered, what happens is that there is a backward linkage between the distributor and the producer. For example, one product we got from one shop. After some time, the shopkeeper and the producer will come to terms, and through what channel he got them. So whether retailer, wholesaler, or producer. So that channel we need to take up, or we need to find out. So generally, what happens is that they tend to play ignorant. Then ultimately, the producer also will say they are all my important people. So also please avoid it. So many times, what happens is that investigation actually goes to it don't properly go. And especially, I also feel that on another policy level is actually we can do is that when a genuine producer product is there, the genuine product is needed for the consumers. So the consumer should actually appreciate that particular product and they want to consume it. Similarly, the retailer and others also, they should also feel that we should be able to give a good product to the customer. Especially things are very serious, especially in counterfeiting medicines. I'm not talking about the currencies alone. I'm talking about the medicine. For example, many of the medicines are very costly medicines, and even vaccinations. You can't even trust any medicine if you want to vaccinate your child and go to the medicine box and want to, most recent and developed world-class vaccination. Actually, you have to think twice, because it happened to even my children. Similarly, many of the drugs are actually banned. I'm just saying about drugs because it affects everybody, but it also includes most of the products. But at the same time, I can always say that product diversification at the when you have the better resource to do that. However, you try to pirate, as example, Pepsi or Coca-Cola, you had failed. However, you try to, I'm talking about the ordinary product. I'm not talking about the huge mobile phones or computers or programming apps, but I'm talking about the ordinary things. For example, what is the alternative to KFC or McDonald's? Whether Indian companies could be able to manufacture a better pizza or a better samosa than others. Whether you're able to sell it to the China. China's are now, so many KFCs are there. Or now they are Coca-Cola and Pepsi are there. Why can't we manufacture such things? What kind of products they have? They also have a patent, but their patent is not registered. So what I'm saying, trying to say that we have multiple avenues for product diversification. That's the one thing. Continuous innovation can actually reduce the counterfeiting in many ways. Similarly, one of the important challenges we have is related to the distribution, because now we no longer purchase everything from mall. We want any product or books, everything we buy through Amazon or Flipkart, etc. So the distribution channel has become much more a broader one. We are more comfortable in that. So in that case, this same Amazon platform or any other online selling point can be used for all these counterfeiting things. And you feel that you want to get the best of the t-shirts, and you apply that. And the company may be a fraud one, we are not sure about that. And there is a mechanism for the Amazon to find out and what type of things can be done. So we can even give a feedback about that. So there's a lot of things that now have come up, and all these things are actually helpful in making us more better. At the same time, the police also feel is increasing challenge, especially in technology. So we certainly need training, and we need a lot of new equipments and new good officers also. But anyhow, and FICCI has did an amazing job by arranging a one-day training for all the police officers. We are once again, I thank FICCI for training our police officers. I think it should be a continuous one, because it's not an ordinary subject. Because what I'm saying is that only 1% now the counterfeiting, everything comes to the limelight and we get registered. 99% is not. I mean, we don't even get registered. And especially for cyber crimes and online fraud and currency, everything, actually we are at a very novice stage, and we need a lot of help from you. And certainly this is a very wonderful seminar. I congratulate FICCI and all the participants. Thank you so much.
Why we cannot improve our quality, and the issues with the new way of shopping is called online shopping with various platforms like Amazon, and these are really gateways to push counterfeits. Now, how do we react to that? How we give our feedback? Yes, they do have, when we talk to Amazon, they do have system to eliminate. Once I was in conversation with the Amazon chief executive, not chief, I mean the second or third responsible for the quality. She was speaking from US. So she told me that we have got such an elaborate system to identify and eliminate the duplicate or the counterfeit products. Then I simply asked her that out of 2,000 something odd cases you have detected, in how many cases you lost the prosecution? She had no answer then. So the corporate world, the business world, they have their own priorities, their own way of looking at the things. And when we come to the legal platform, it is a little different. There are many laws in India which are enforced by the enforcement agencies, be it customs department, be it the police department. At times, it is said that the laws we have are not robust enough. At times, it is said that laws should be more stringent. And sometimes they say law is very stringent, but the as mentioned by Mr. Sethu Raman in the last part of his speech, that the prosecution sometimes fails because the complainant compromises with the criminal. They say, okay, now it is our own product, own thing, and we don't need to prosecute further. And in this regard, I have some figure from Delhi police where the prosecution was launched. It is of course an old figure, that the businessmen normally are only interested that their infringed goods are confiscated by the law enforcement agency, that is the police, and the person who is indulging in this comes to his knees, and after that they compromise. The complainant does not cooperate with the cooperation, and the case goes forward. And then the police is left with its a police station filled with all the fake items, no place to move around. So there are many problems in that, and it needs the law also to be amended at times. We have with us law expert, advocate VZ George from, I would request him to